Okay, today I'm going to be talking to you about how to get over that fear of approaching her, and even better than that, I'm going to be giving you one technique which is going to allow you to use that fear of approaching her and saying hi as a means to get you to say hello. So all of those excuses that you've been bottling up for not wanting to approach her, or that horrible feeling that you have in your gut when you see a beautiful woman walking by but you don't know quite what to say, I will be teaching you in this really short video how you can actually use that to form what you're going to use to say hello to a woman, and also in such a way that she's going to respond brilliantly. Okay, so here's the thing. I want you to imagine that you're in one of those settings where you really want to say hi. It could be maybe you're at a bar and you see a really attractive woman, or maybe you're in the street, or maybe you're just in a coffee shop and you notice a cute girl in the queue or sitting down eating her salad. At that point, it's almost like a clock starts ticking and you know that you should be acting, that you should be going over in there and saying hi before she walks out of the room. But you don't, because for some reason you don't feel comfortable within that environment to say hi. You worry that maybe she'll reject you, you worry that other people will be listening, you worry that it's just not appropriate to say hello to her because it's not that you're at a dating event, she's eating her lunch. Okay, at this point I want you to understand that whatever your fear is saying, that voice in your head, the excuse that your brain is giving you to not take that action, I want you to grab a hold of it and I want you to use it as your conversation, because I get it, when that voice of fear is screaming and shouting in your brain, it can be really difficult to think up a witty opening thing to say to the woman, and then you have two issues. You have the fact your mind is blank and you're afraid of approaching her. What a bad combination. So let's solve both those problems. So what I need you to get really conscious of in order to do this correctly is I need you to identify exactly what that voice is saying. Is it saying it's not really appropriate to speak to her because, you know, we're on a train and she's on her way to work? I don't think I should speak to her because she's got her headphones in. I don't think I should speak to her because she's clearly in an in-depth conversation with her friend. I don't think I should speak to her because, you know what, she's really good looking and looks very intimidating. Whatever that fear is, this is what you're going to say. Literally, you're going to verbalize and acknowledge what the internal voice of fear is saying to you. And I know this sounds absolutely mental, but it actually really works, and I'll tell you why. When you say hi to a woman, you've got her attention. If the next thing you say to her is something that's specific, i.e. she knows that you haven't just said this to 20 other women that day, it shows that you're a human being, so she gets to know a little bit more about your character and your personality. She knows that it's the truth, and if you say what is exactly in your brain, all of your non-verbal communication is going to be expressing that in a way that she knows what she's hearing is completely authentic, and she'll respond well to that. Likewise, if what you say is vulnerable but also kind of courageous, because it takes chops to walk up to a woman and say, hey, you know what, I almost didn't say hi to you because you are very, very, very attractive, but here I am, please don't slap me. If you say that, that takes balls, and that confidence is what will be really attractive to a woman. Likewise, if you approach a woman and she's halfway through eating a burrito, if you say, hey, gosh, this is probably the worst time ever to say hello to you because you're halfway through eating that sandwich, but immediately you're using what would be your limitation, what would be the fear, and you're turning it into witty conversation that's very relevant to her, and also lets her know that she's in the presence of a guy who's socially aware and socially well calibrated enough that he's okay to acknowledge what's going on. Likewise, if you see a woman chatting to her friend, just say, hey, I know you're like in the middle of a very in-depth conversation that I'm just about to gate crash, but I had to tell you. So instead of struggling to think about what's the perfect opening line in these circumstances and getting wound up and letting your fear overtake you, how about you accept that there isn't a perfect opening line, but you can have an opening line that's really specific, really honest, and shows a great deal of self-esteem and self-confidence. If you do that and you deliver it with smiles, slowly, and making really great eye contact, she is going to respond well. So the best way that you can deal with and manage your fear, that annoying voice in your head that stops you from approaching the women that you really like, get a hold of that voice and you use it as one of your tools for conversation that will help to keep interactions authentic and honest and awesome. Okay, if you've liked the advice that I've given you in this video, please check out all of the other videos on my YouTube channel by subscribing right now. And the other thing you should do today, this minute, is to hop onto my mailing list, sign up for my newsletter. Not only is it completely free, but there's amazing tips and techniques on there that I'm not sharing on my YouTube channel. So don't miss out, sign up to my newsletter today, and I'll speak to you soon.